Hello, Professor Claudia Solano. This is going to be the presentation or the groupal activity of the group number 6, which is about the technical requirements for a product or a service to access an international market. In this case, as you can see, the product is going to be the cocoa, and the international market that we choose is going to be Malaysia. So, well, the group members are, as you're here, as you can see, the group members are going to be myself, who is talking. Then we have Stephanie Castañeda, and last, Mariana Santilla. Well, this is, you see the flags there, and also it's going to be used for the presentation. Okay, so I just want to begin with, first of all, talking about the introduction and also the objectives that we have for this investigation, okay, or for this work. Let's begin for this part, mentioning that cocoa export from Peru to Malaysia is an strategic effort of Peruvian agro companies who aim to take further advantage of the burgeoning demand for premium cocoa products in the Southeast Asia, especially in this region. This demand is increasing for many factors, and also all the trade sales or trade contracts, that we are having there. Well, with that part of the world, with Southeast Asia region. Well, the purpose of this report, or this groupal activity, is to provide details on official market access requirements as you request, certification and standards in place, along with recommendations at the end for upping readiness in Malaysia. This is going to be like the objective, the main objective. It's vital for international markets to understand and meet access requirements, as not compliance can result in goods being refused, like every other product in the international commerce. Also, trade barriers established and business opportunities lost. So, in addition to enhancing competitiveness, it is more convenient for products to meet, for any kind of products, in this case the cocoa, to meet the standards of the importing country when customs clearance is involved. Every country has different standards, different culture, and different things that we have to follow. Okay, different specifications. So, and we can also establish trust with foreign partners. So this is like the most difficult part that we have in this case to establish relationships or businesses with another countries for literally another part of the world. They are so far away, like more than 10 hours. It's our time zone difference, so this is kind of complicated. But let's also resume that in the three research objective. So now we're going to talk the 3 research objective that they are required in this work, in this investigation. Well, the report is guided by 3 main research objectives. The first one is identify market access requirement. And well, the thing is, I'm going to just say a little brief information or a meaning of each concept or each objective, just to make clear. Okay, as I said before, the first is going to be the market, to identify the market access requirements, which is literally analyze the regulatory conditions and official requirements Peruvian agro companies must satisfy to export cocoa to Malaysia in this case, including documentation, permits, and customs regulations. That this is like the hardest part. And the other is going to be research standards and accreditation bodies. Well, this is just investigate the relevant standards, accreditation bodies, also the competent authorities involved in Peruvian and Malaysia countries involved, and determine the main quality and safety standards applicable to cocoa exports, like food safety. We have also phytosanitary certification because it's just a fruit that we have to export, and the halal requirements. We are going to talk about the halal requirements in the next slides. And also, my teammates are going to talk. I'm going to try to explain this information further. And the last one is going to be just the recommendations for market positioning. Present findings and recommendations on how Peruvian company can better position themselves in Malaysian cocoa market, including strategies to meet and exceed regulatory expectations, also obtain strategic certifications, and the last one is leverage best practices for building trust and also brand reputation.
In the past few years, the global market of cocoa has kept growing, mostly because of the higher demand for chocolate and premium cocoa products. The Global Market Report, Cocoa by IISD 2022, explains that this growth also brings more attention to sustainability, product traceability, and meeting international quality standards, which are now key for staying competitive nowadays. The International Cocoa Organization, ICCO 2024, also shows that cocoa production and consumption are still rising around the world, which means that there are good opportunities. But also, they need to keep quality consistent between producers and importers. In Peru, PROMPERU 2023 mentions that Peruvian cocoa is now recognized for its fine aroma and great quality, which helps open new opportunities in markets like Malaysia. In this country, the Department of Standards controls food safety and product quality through regulations such as the MS 2672-2018, which follows the Codex Alimentarius CXS 105-1981 and halal requirements. According to the Codex Alimentarius Standard CXS 105-1981, established by the FAO and World Health Organization, cocoa powders and dry mixtures of cocoa and sugars must meet specific compositions and hygiene standards to ensure product safety and fair trade. It also set limits such as maximum moisture content of 7%, defines minimum levels of cocoa solids, and aligns hygiene and labeling requirements. And regarding halal certification, is essential for most food products, including cocoa. Overall, these studies shows that Peruvian cocoa, to enter the Malaysian market successfully, exporters need to focus especially on both quality and compliance and with Malaysia's technical, sanitary, and cultural standards. And now, regarding market access requirements, to export Peruvian cocoa to Malaysia, companies must comply with several regulatory requirements that ensure product safety, quality, and, mostly important, respect for local standards. First, cocoa products must follow Malaysia's Food Act 1983 and Food Regulations 1985, which set rules for food safety, contaminant limits, permitted additives, and storage conditions. In addition, the International Standard Codex Alimentarius defines the essential characteristics and compositions of cocoa powders and mixtures, serving as a technical reference for both Malaysian authorities and Peruvian exporters. Another key requirement is the halal certification, which ensures that the entire production process complies with Islamic principles from manufacturing to packaging. Regarding labeling, Malaysian regulations requires that information must appear in Malay or English and also include the product name. ingredient list, net weight, country of origin, expiration date, and the halal logo if applicable. Finally, import tariffs for cocoa beans HS 1801 are currently set at 0%, while processed cocoa products may face different rates depending on their classification. Meeting all these requirements not only allows market entry but also strengthens consumers' trust and helps position Peruvian cocoa as high quality and reliable product in Malaysia.
In Peru, there are several important institutions that make sure cacao exports meet international quality and safety standards. First, we have INACAL, the National Institute for Quality, which sets technical standards and accredits laboratories that certify products under ISO and ASAP system. Then SENASA checks the cacao before its export, issuing phytosanitary certificate to confirm that it is free of pests or contaminations. Finally, MINCETUR is in charge of trade regulations and provides the certificate of origin so Peruvian exporters can receive tariff benefits. In Malaysia, food imports are highly regulated. The most important institution is JKIM, which gives the halal certification. This is mandatory for food and beverage products in the country. We also have DSM, that is the Department of Standards Malaysia, which manage the national standards such as MS 1500. This is the halal food standard. And then the Ministry of Health, through the Food Safety and Quality Division, this ensures that import food follows the Food Act and the food regulation. This is because this control labeling and food safety. In both countries, there are government institutions that supervise and enforce these standards. In Peru, SENASA is the main authority for phytosanitary control. This makes sure that cacao is safe for exports and meets the importing country rules. Then, INACAL ensures that certification bodies work according to international norms. And MINCETUR handles all the trade procedures and documentation. In Malaysia, JKIM checks that import cacao has a valid halal certification, while the Ministry of Health verifies labeling and hygiene compliance. Finally, the Royal Malaysian Customs Department controls all the documents at the port and applies import duties. In conclusion, Peru authorities are focused on preparing the product for export, while Malaysia institutions guarantee that import cacao follows both health and halal standards. Together, they help ensure that Peruvian cacao can enter to the Malaysian market successfully. One important finding is that Malaysia has very strict entry requirements for food imports. The halal certification is not optional, it's a must for any company that wants to export cacao there. Also, many Peruvian exporters still don't have a halal certification recognized by JKIM, so this limits there. As a recommendation, Peruvian companies should start getting the halal certification through accredited bodies recognized by JKIM and also apply ISO 22000 or HACCP system. This would help them meet the Malaysian standards and improve their image with customers. In conclusion, if Peruvian cacao aligns with Malaysia halal and safety regulations, it can gain access to high-value market and have a strong reputation there.
Okay, and just to finish with the presentation, one more important conclusion will be Peruvian agro exporters aiming to enter Malaysian cocoa, or as we call here cacao, market must focus on meeting strict regulatory standards and market entry requirements such as food safety compliance, halal certification, traceability, and proper documentation. And well, just to end that, this is going to be the slide for the references that we use to do this project. So this is going to be all for the group 6, sorry. Thank you, teacher, and thank you everyone for hearing us. This is going to be the last slide. Thank you to all of you.